In Cape Town, more than 200 people have been left homeless after fires tore through informal settlements in that city. Many are still awaiting news on relocation, as well as what kind of assistance they'll be getting from Good Samaritans. Ziniko Mhlaba is in Imizamo Yetu and joins us now live. Well, devastated those families must be. And do we know, Ziniko, what kind of assistance they may be looking for?
Well, Profio, we did speak to them earlier on upon our arrival there in the morning, but also throughout the day as we spent some time with them. The key things that were really, of great need was the issue of food. Because some of them will say that, they've been asking food, or their neighbors or their extended family members who live in this particular area to assist them. And some family members, even some friends, community members who have no relations with them, had been also cooking for some of those residents. So those were that was the major issue. But also the issue now of looking forward to the next couple of days into January regarding their homes, in terms of when exactly would the city be able to respond in regards to rebuilding those dwellings there. But also, the city has been on the ground trying to collect as much data as they can to ensure that they know the number of affected people as well. So one of the organizations that has really been at the heart of immediate response when it comes to water and also food throughout the day has been the gift of the Givers. Now I'm joined by the spokesperson, Mr. Ali, to give us more context in terms of their own findings after engaging with some of the committee members, but also now the form and the type of help you think is urgently needed there. Mr. Ali, give us your findings also, but how you have intervened up until to this point.
Good afternoon. We first received the calls from the community leaders in the early hours of this morning, and some of the fire victims as well, pleading for our assistance. This morning we sent our team on site to do the relevant assessments. We then found out that the immediate need will be hot meals and clean drinking water, as there was no clean drinking water on site. Our teams are currently on site distributing hot meals and clean drinking water to the families, but their main concern is having a roof over their head by tomorrow. I have engaged with the Deputy Minister of Human Settlements, informing her what's the situation on the ground currently. We do know they will be sending a team out there to do the relevant assessments. Our intervention will continue for the next few days, as there's some other humanitarian needs that are required in terms of mattresses, blankets, personal hygiene care item packs. There were some mothers that came to us that require some nappies and some formula, etc., some baby care packs. And there was other families who raised a concern. As we know, during the time of December, these families save up or belong to Stokvels, where they purchase their school uniform and stationery for the young ones for the next schooling year. That is completely burnt out. We can see how high the emotions are. We have come forward and informed them. We just require that list of the amount of learners that are currently affected in that fire, and we will providing each learner with new school uniform, stationery as well. And we will be on the ground for the next 5 to 7 days until the relevant government institutions kicks in terms of their humanitarian relief or their humanitarian aid. We will continue with our hot meals distribution, and we will, in the meantime, by tomorrow, we will be extending further humanitarian aid in terms of blankets, and mattresses and other items that they requested.
I mean, I'm glad that you have engaged the Department of Human Settlements. The reason I'm raising that, I'm worried about the turnaround time, because I think as much as you can assist where you can, the issue of the structures themselves, because these families need places need roof over their heads as soon as possible. What is the conversation there? And what do you think are the causes of the turnaround time delays in terms of trying to get these emergency services from government out as soon as possible? What are the frustrations there from your engagements with them?
Okay, so the National is sending a team down to come and do assessments at the sites. As we do know, simultaneously there was fires in Umbakweni again, the second fire in 1 week. We informed them about that as well. Sometimes the frustration issues for government officials as well is the turnaround time of getting the resources. and that issue was raised by some of the relevant people in the department as well, especially in terms of disasters, where action is needed now, not tomorrow, needed now. So the department officials has engaged that. We've seen over the last few weeks an improvement of building kits being given out in other fires that occurred over the last few months. But going into this festive period, you know, last year we dealt with much more fires when it was this period. But I must say, last year, this time as well, we had dealt with the fire in Zamayeto at the same spot. So we see how vulnerable those communities are. And our main concern are that those people that left for the Eastern Cape, that will be coming back to no home. How long will that registration take place? Who will be registering for them? So that's a kind of a technical issue that we hope the community leaders and the councillors of the areas will be able to engage with the community to get that relevant information, because the worst thing is coming in the next few days if people still staying out in the open, especially the elders and women with young children.
I mean, let's look at the capacity, not just necessarily from your organization. Look, there's going to be a lot of fires that are going to be experienced, especially in this particular province, the Western Cape. Looking at the capacity, turnaround time, what's the worst that can happen, and how has the planning been so far? Are the plans working out? And just to give us a general sense, what is still to come from your experience? You're saying that there were fires last year on the very same day. What is yet to happen now, looking at this particular dry season in the Cape?
Yeah, generally it's been a quiet period for us. Last year, this time we were dealing with 40 fires at one go. We have, over the last few years, doing the studies, we have brought in additional stocks. We brought out from all the wholesalers here. We brought in additional stocks from our other offices that brought stocks into the Western Cape. So we are quite well resourced. Our teams, our cooking teams, you know, coming on site, especially over this period, the most traumatic thing for a person in an informal settlement who works with budget is to see your food burn out in front of you, not having the resource to have a meal on the table tomorrow. So give to the givers at any day and time. When a disaster strikes anywhere in the Western Cape, we can provide 10,000 meals in 3 hours. That's the mandate. So we are quite well resourced. We brought in additional restocks, and we are hoping that there's no more fires, because it's traumatizing, especially for the young ones. You know, they're living in an abnormal society where they are getting used to any bottle breaks. You see the trauma in the child running out to see if there's a fire, or still growing up with that trauma. Speaking to someone not so long ago who was 21 years old, speaking to him, he says the most traumatic time of his life growing up was to remember how many times his home has burnt out. So we can just see the trauma going through. So we're hoping that, you know, social service can be provided to those people that are currently going through this trauma as well. But as gift of the giver sides, we are quite well resourced. We just got back now we're dealing in the other parts of the Western Cape with a drought, as you said, and now we're dealing with fires on this side.
I mean, lastly, before I let you go, any updates in terms of how many people your team are serving there? We know that the city is going to update us a bit later on, but from the ground, from your ground forces, how many people are they dealing with who are in great need of this help, who have been affected?
So dealing with community leaders on the ground, we are still waiting for the official figures from the relevant authorities. We are currently serving 200 people. We're providing hot meals and clean drinking water. Tomorrow we'll be assisting, because now the community knows all the people that are living there. Even those that are in the Eastern Cape, when they come back, we'll providing with them with resources as well. In the Umbakweni, we are dealing with 50 people. In Manenberg, where there's been a fire of 6 structures, there's another 30 people. And we are still currently assisting those families that were affected in Bakwini last week as well. Because you know, it was over the period of Christmas. They still haven't have proper resources to assist them over the festive period. But our teams are deployed all over the Western Cape, and we are still on standby if anything further occurs.
Mr. Ari, thank you very much, sir, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bravi. That's Ali there, who speaks for the gift of the givers, just giving us some insights into the situation, not just where we are in Hot Bay, but also across the province, but also what is comforting those that, at least from their side, they've got the capacity to respond to these challenges. But earlier on, when we were on the ground, this was around 10 o'clock, the city officials were on the ground, but obviously not telling us officially. They were looking at about 160 people at that particular time who had come forward to them to register as people who are in need. And Ali has just confirmed that from their own work, and they are assisting about 200 people. So that's the number that really, the number of people who have been affected by that particular fire. We'll be speaking to the city disaster management officer at about 5 o'clock to give us those statistics officially, but also a comprehensive report in terms of what sparked that fire. fire, and what is it that the city is going to do to ensure that going forward they can handle these particular matters better? It's back to you for now.
Ziniko Mhlaba speaking there to the gift of the givers, who of course always rise to the occasion. In this instance, they are trying to help the more than 200 people who have been left homeless after that fire tore through that informal settlement in Cape Town.